If you'd like a looser look to your paintings, try doing a painting without drawing first. And here's an example of just a small floral that I did where I just threw some water onto the paper, not all over, but just here and there. I wanted some dry spots and some wet spots, but I thought I would try to paint a few daisy looking type flowers with maybe some purple flowers in the background. So I'm using this paper I got on Amazon called Tumarata, and it's not a bad paper. It's 100% cotton and it's reasonably priced. And that size was 7 by 10, so I take those sheets and cut them in half. So I'm working on a 5 by 7 sheet of paper. So I've got a little bit of water randomly on my paper, and now I mixed up a purple color using cobalt blue and permanent rose, and I'm just flicking some of that color here and there. But I'm trying to remember that I want some white flowers in this painting, so I have to leave the space for that. And that can be hard to do. And as it turned out, I wanted the flowers a little bigger than what they turned out to be, but this is just practice and just to give you an idea of how to do this. So keep that in mind. If you're going to put some flowers in, you need to leave space for them. And if you need to draw just some kind of a shape like a circle shape or an elliptical shape to mark where your flowers go, you can do that too. I didn't do that here. I just went right on in with the brush and the paint. So I'm just trying to give the indication of some little purple flowers in the background, no detail at all. And as I'm laying that color down with my floppy, that's my silver brush, black velvet dagger brush, 1/4 inch, they're just random strokes, and it's really not meant to be anything, just a background, just a purple background suggesting some flowers, some little purple flowers. But now I want to establish where my centers are going to be of my flowers. For me, that's the easiest. Your center determines the direction of the flower, and of course, it'll help you visualize where that flower is going to be. So I was doing that with some permanent yellow deep, and you can see I've got 3 flowers there. I kind of wish the shapes had been a little bit larger, the white shapes, but I'll just go with what I have. And here I am using some of that same purple color to do some shadows in the petals of each flower, and that helps me to remember the direction that it's going. And notice that I put most of the color up by the center of the flower, and then I rinse my brush and just use a wet brush to pull the color out toward the ends of the petals. And just be careful not to cover the entire petal with the purple. You want to leave some white areas too. And I'm sorry for my head being in the way. I had to actually cut some of this out because of that, so I'll try to be more careful of that in the future. I sped this part up. Once I showed you how to do the shadows on the petals, I sped this up so you don't get too bored with watching me do that. I'll slow it back down again here in a few minutes. But I'm just working around each of those flowers with the purple color up next to the center, then rinse my brush and pull that color out. And then it helps to give you a much better idea of where the petals on those flowers are going as you work around the painting, so that you can keep that white area intact and not accidentally cover it up. So now I'm mixing up a little bit of a green foliage color. I'm using New Gamboge is the yellow that I'm using, and some ultramarine blue. I wanted a little bit darker blue for this, so I used ultramarine. Just mix that up, and I'm just flicking some of that color on around the different areas, or actually around the daisies. And you'll notice how I use that color to help form the outer edges of the daisies as well. I do that with both the purple color and the foliage color. And there again, it's just a matter of practicing that, and you'll get the idea, and you'll hopefully you'll get to really like that. I know I do. I much prefer to do this rather than drawing a flower on a sheet of paper and trying to stay within those lines. I'm not very good at that. I do much better if I just can work this way, do negative painting of the flowers and just sort of have them emerge as you go along. What I was doing there was applying some lighter green color first. That was my green gold. And you could easily use yellow for that too, but I wanted to get that lighter green down before I went in with the darker green that I had mixed up. So I'm doing some of the green foliage, and then I added more of the purple too to indicate some of those background flowers again. And notice how pretty much everything I lay down, I blend it out with water to so that I don't have hard edges and to help make it look more like it's in the background. Notice when I use that, that's my Princeton Velvet Touch brush. When I use that kind of a brush, I use the belly of the brush a lot. So you'll see me lay down some color, and then when I go back and pick up some water, I'll use the entire surface of the brush to help spread that color. I lay it down against the paper. And the same is true when you're applying the purple color for these flowers. Try to get the darker purple up close to the petals of the flower, of the daisy. And the dark against light will really call attention to those white flowers. And so I continue to go on around the painting. I think that's my green again. I'm adding some green foliage there to the right of that daisy. And I think later on I add more purple there as well. But see how I'm just forming that flower as I negative paint around it. And I also want to leave some lost edges, which helps to give it a loose look. And if you look at the bottom of that daisy that I'm working on right now, see how the bottom edge of that daisy kind of just gets lost? That's a lost edge. And that lost edge won't stay there because I needed to get more dark color under that flower. But I'll show you some others. In fact, I have another one that I just made right there. Just by pulling out, I had a damp brush, a clean damp brush, and I just pulled out across the edge of that daisy into the background color. And do you see how that edge got lost? That's another good way to do that. I just wanted to get some more purple color under that daisy. So I had a beautiful lost edge there, but I gave it up. Now just going back, making little touches, adding more foliage color to that one. And this is a painting, when I got finished with it, this painting doesn't have a lot of contrast. I could have gone back and done a few more attempts to get some dark color around the petals, but just for the sake of the length of this video, I didn't do that. So I still have a little bit of a lost edge right there where I was fiddling around, and that looks pretty nice. And I'll try to repeat that with my other daisies as well to give them some lost edges. So now mixing up more of the purple color again, the same purple color, and working on, I want to start working on that bottom daisy, and that is kind of an odd shape, and it's just because of what happened, the way it turned out to be. But you can see the light color on top of the center of that daisy. It's suggesting that the petals are folded over. So the bottom part is in shadow, and then the top petals that are folded over would be more in light. And I'm just working around that flower to get some contrast to it, really. Just suggesting a little more purple color. And I know these daisy centers aren't very visible right now, but I will go back later and show you a way to make them, to give them more contrast. So now on to the third daisy. I'm just trying to establish the shape of that third daisy a little bit. And I have to say, right there where I made those petal shapes, I wasn't too crazy about those. I didn't spend as much time at them as I should have. It's okay, it's just practice, but I probably could have made those a little better. So it seems like I'm using a lot of purple color. I keep having to mix up more, but I just wanted to get more of the purple background in there. And notice that I'm flicking some of the purple color on, but I'm flicking that onto paper that's damp. It's wet or damp so that the color spreads a little bit. If I were flicking that onto dry paper, I would want to spritz it a little bit with my spray bottle so that it doesn't leave just a hard dot in your painting. So it's just something to be aware of. I like to use that technique a lot, but you have to do it on paper that's at least damp. Okay, so on the third, well, back to the first daisy, I'm just going back, getting a little more dark color up against the flower. I had cut out a part of the video where you see the scene changes because my head was in the way, so I apologize for that. But I think you'll see enough to get the idea. Just adding more color here and there. More color to the background. I wanted to make sure the purple flowers hadn't disappeared. I'm just adding more color and then getting more dark color up against the flowers. I don't like that little circular piece that's right below that daisy, but I think I fixed that later on. That really bothers me. There, I'm pulling out some of that color. I don't like just a hard, some kind of a line all the way around a flower. It's so obvious. So I try to break that up a little bit. And so just getting some more of that purple color on the bottom. And notice how sometimes it's more of the blue purple and sometimes more of the red purple. That's why I like to not mix the colors on my palette. I just pick them up on my brush. For example, I'll pick up a little bit of the blue and a little bit of the red, but not mix them until I get on the paper. And then you get that nice variation in color. And any odd shapes, I want to make sure I get rid of any odd shapes. And some of it takes care of itself as the paper dries, when you just let watercolor kind of do its thing. So working around that bottom flower a little bit, defining that a little bit more. So now you can see better now how that flower is shaped with the petals on the top kind of turning over. And just continuing on around with some of the purple color. I'm actually really liking it right now. I think it looks pretty good. Even though I don't think it has a lot of contrast, I still like the look of it. Now I still have that third flower to define a little bit more. It's kind of just sitting out there by itself. I should also mention that when you're painting florals, it took me a long time to learn this, but it's better if you connect some of them. For example, can you see how the bottom daisy and my top daisy are connected a bit? That's a really good technique. Don't have all of your flowers standing by themselves. Now the left daisy is kind of by itself, but the other two are connected. And when you do a painting like that, try to connect a couple of your flowers so they're not lonely by themselves. And then I'll do a shadow here a little bit later to separate those two flowers that are kind of together. So I was just going around. There I'm making a lost edge on that third flower. And I like to do that, especially when it's so close to the edge of the paper, because any hard line is going to call attention to it. So now back to the centers of the flowers, and I needed to get more contrast in those centers. And so I mixed up a little bit of my Quin burnt orange. That's like burnt sienna, very similar to burnt sienna. And I added a little bit of red. I believe I used carmine, my carmine red for that. I used those two colors together just because I like them. Just to get a darker center, or a darker color at the base of those centers. It really helps to just create more interest, and the more contrast you can have in a painting, especially around the center of interest, the better it is. And there's no clearly defined light source in this painting, but when you're doing those centers like that or putting the dark around the centers, just try to be aware of where your light source is and to show the light part of your center toward that light source. So just working on that third one. And you might have to go back a couple of times to add more dark to the centers, but I think this will do it. Another good mix would be some kind of green mix, like green and red together would be a good mix to put at the base of your centers. Or your burnt sienna, like I did, you could use a little bit of green with it, or the red, like I did, but not too bright of a red. Now going back, just adding more of the shadow, the purple shadow color on some of the daisies. just to get a little more dimension to them. Helps to define the shape of the daisies. I really like the colors in this painting. And now I'm going back, trying to define a little bit more those turned over petals on the top of that third daisy and the shadow underneath. And then getting more shadows in on the daisy on the right. I'm using a lot of water, that's why the color has lightened up so much. And I'm using dry paint. If I were using fresh paint out of the tube, I wouldn't have to do this so many times. But I'm just using what's in my palette. So there we go. Oh, there's the shadow that I'm making to separate those two flowers from each other. So I have the flower on the right sitting in front of that flower that's kind of turned over. And that's a simple thing to do. Just don't forget to do your shadow. So there you have it. There's the finished piece. I hope this was helpful to you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing. And thanks so much for watching.